Hello everyone, this is Lalita Singh and you are going to study science with me in class 7. And today we are going to discuss our 7th chapter that is called Physical and Chemical Change. This is our very first video on this topic. In this chapter you will learn about physical change, chemical change, rusting of iron and crystallization. You can see we are having some pictures over here in which the person is cutting the strip of paper. Now see in this, the paper is burning over here. Can you just tell me which type of changes these are? When a person is cutting the strip of paper, it reduces the size of paper, but the material that is used to make the paper is similar. That is why it is physical change, because no new substance has been formed, right? Now take a look at this one. The paper is burning. After burning, the ash only remain, right? So ash is similar to the paper. Do you think so? No. Ash is completely new substance. So ash does not have the property of the paper. So we can say it is a new substance that is formed in the form of ash. So over here, as a new substance has been formed, we can say it is a chemical change. Various type of changes keep happening around us all the time, and we can categorize all of these changes into physical and chemical change accordingly. Okay, if there is a formation of a new substance, it will be called chemical change, and if there is nothing which is new to be formed, then it should be named as physical change. Now see over here, physical change. If the physical property of a substance gets changed during this process, then it is said to be physical change. Okay, now what is physical property? The color, the shape, the size and state of the matter are the physical property of the substance. Changes like, see over here, stretching of rubber band, melting of butter, these are over here. We are not creating something new, but what happened after it got melt down? If we are going to freeze it again, it will turn into butter. If we are stretching the rubber over here, and again after some time when we will leave the rubber, it will return back to the same shape. Okay, same thing. And over here the substances are not getting changed, nothing new has been formed, only the size and state of the matter. Over here size and state of the matter only get changed. It means there is change in their physical property. In a physical change, no new substance is formed. Okay, and most of the time the physical changes are reversible. But if you consider this example, is this reversible? No, it is not. If we are cutting something, it is not reversible, but stretching of rubber, it is reversible. Okay, melting of ice is also a reversible change. So most of the time, most of the physical changes are reversible. We are using the term most of. It means there are few which are irreversible. Understood? Now to understand this more, we can do the activity number 1, in which we are going to use a balloon. Okay, we will take a balloon, we will inflate it, and if there is any change in shape and size, you will consider this change. Okay, note down all the changes that happen when you are blowing the balloon. Now leave the upper portion, mouth of the balloon open. See what happened? Now the balloon will return back into the similar size or the previous shape because it deflated. Okay, so the change in shape and size of the balloon on inflating or deflating is nothing new. Now no new substance formed during these changes, so we can say it is a physical change. Okay, see here, when we are blowing this balloon, what will happen? It will turn into like this, and when we are going to open its mouth, what will happen? The air from inside will come out and it will change back to this condition. So this is nothing new. No new substance has been formed, but only the shape of the balloon has get changed. Now the second is to find out if stretching of a spring is a physical change. Obviously for this we need a spring, right? Now see, this is the spring that we are going to use for this experiment. Now we will stretch the spring. After stretching, it will look like something like this. Can you see any kind of change in shape and size of this spring? Okay, and do you think that any new substance has been formed over here? No, there is no formation of a new substance, but the shape and size of the spring get changed after being stretched, right? You can compare the result in the side by side by looking at this picture. So this is also an example of physical change. Understood? Now, activity number. In activity 3, we have to observe the physical change with the help of water. For this activity, we need water, a bowl, a burner and a plate. Okay, what we will do? We will take the water in any bowl, okay, and then we will heat it up over the flame by keeping it on flame. After some time, you can see the steam is coming out of the bowl. Next thing, what you have to do? You will put a plate, a cold plate, over the top of the bowl where the steam is. Okay, after some time you can see a small water droplet has been present on the plate. Where does this water come from? Let's see. This is the liquid that we are going to heat up. Okay, and after heating up, this liquid will change into gaseous molecule. Okay, after heating up, this liquid water will change into water vapor. Okay, but still the formula of water is H2O. If it is for water or if it is for water vapor, no new substance has been formed. Okay, when we are cooling down this gas, that is water vapor, again we can get liquid out of it. Okay, and if we are freezing this liquid, it will turn into ice. Understood? It will turn into ice. See over here, this is what happened. This is the water. Okay, when you are boiling it for 100 degrees centigrade, what will happen? It will turn into water vapor. Okay, and when we are cooling it down, it will again, after condensing, it will return back to the water. And if you are freezing this water, it will turn into ice, and if you are melting the ice, it will again turn into water. Understood? This is how the changes are taking place. This is how we can say that it is a physical change. Now next is chemical changes, a change in which two or more substances come in contact and they give rise to a new type of contact which is having entirely different property than the previous one. Okay, the substances which has been involved, it has entirely new characters. The kind of change is called chemical change. It means in a chemical change, always a new substance is produced with a different property. Clear? Mostly the chemical changes are irreversible. They cannot be reversed. That is why mostly the chemical changes are considered as permanent changes. You can see over here there are certain examples of permanent changes. Where the first one is cooking of food. Once you cook the food, it is now cannot be reversed into the raw one, and the cooked food is having different property than the raw one. Now see, the seed get germinated and then it is growing, right? If it is growing like this, it means it has transformed into a plant, which is entirely irreversible change, and it is a chemical change. You can see plants are performing photosynthesis in this figure. Photosynthesis in which, by using carbon dioxide, water in presence of light with the help of chlorophyll, new substance that is known as glucose and oxygen has been produced. Glucose is used by the plant for growth and oxygen has been released out in the atmosphere. Some amount of oxygen is used for respiration as well. See over here, this is curd made from milk. Milk and curd are both two different things. Milk was sweet to taste, whereas curd is sour to taste. So we can say this is entirely new substance which is formed from the milk, right? So these all changes which you can see over here are the changes in which new substances has been produced, and they are irreversible as well. Actually, they are chemical changes. Understood? Now see over here. To understand more about chemical changes, we are having an activity called activity number 4. In this, we will observe chemical changes with the help of iron nail, and for that we need a shiny iron nail and a to perform this activity, we need a shiny iron nail. You can see this is the iron nail which is kind of shiny. So we will collect the shiny iron nail in a plate and we will keep it in moist space. Do you know what happened to the iron nail when it come in contact with oxygen and moisture? Yes, it will get rusted. It will become like this. This is rusted iron nail. Okay, so rusting. After rusting, this iron nail has gotten some coating of reddish brown color, which is kind of very weak in nature. This coating of rust is actually ferrous oxide. Understood? The shiny iron nail get rusted and we cannot get back the same shiny iron nail from the rusted one, right? So it is a chemical change and it is also irreversible change. Clear? To understand more about chemical change, we are having several activity over here, out of which one is about burning of magnesium ribbon is also a chemical change. It is activity number 5. To perform this activity, we need magnesium ribbon, sandpaper, pair of tong, burner, test tube, dropper, blue and red litmus paper. This is tong. It looks like a scissor, but the frontal part of it has been modified to hold the substance, not to cut it. Okay. Now, next we are having magnesium ribbon over here, which is clean with the help of sandpaper, and then we will cut a small piece of this magnesium ribbon. Okay, then we will hold this magnesium ribbon with the help of tong and put it over the flame. Now it will start burning. The burning of magnesium ribbon produces a very white dazzling light which is very uncomfortable to see directly, and you are not supposed to see it directly as well because it harms the eyes. It actually harmed the retina of the eyes. Now see over here, after burning the magnesium, it turned into magnesium oxide, which is like this ash. Okay, white ash. Now next is when we have done this. Okay, when we have completed up to this portion, actually magnesium has reacted with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Understood? This is magnesium oxide. Now we have to check the nature of this magnesium oxide. For that we will dissolve this magnesium oxide. Okay, for that we will dissolve this magnesium oxide into water, and then we will check its nature with the help of litmus paper. This is the litmus paper, red litmus paper. Now this is the dissolved solution in the beaker in which water and magnesium oxide has been mixed, and when water and magnesium oxide got together, they form magnesium hydroxide. When you are going to dip this litmus paper into the solution, the red litmus paper will change into blue one. Okay, see the change of color. So by studying this is the the lower one is the litmus paper which we have gotten after dipping it into the solution, whereas the first one is the freshly available litmus paper. So you can just compare the color of there, right, and guess what is the nature of solution. If the red litmus changes into blue, it means it is acidic or basic. It is basic substance. So we can say that magnesium oxide, when get dissolved into water, it get converted into basic nature. Okay, class? The reaction of this experiment is given over here. When we are first burning magnesium, then what will happen? Burning is a process in which take place in presence of oxygen, right? So at the time of burning, magnesium react with oxygen to give rise magnesium oxide. Okay, and later on we have dissolved this magnesium oxide into water. So written over here, magnesium oxide plus water. Okay, which result into magnesium hydroxide. This magnesium hydroxide is basic in nature. Clear? Next is Activity number 6, to absorb chemical change with the help of zinc granule and hydrochloric acid. To perform this activity, we are in need of zinc granule and hydrochloric acid. Along with it, we need test tube, dropper, matchstick and candle. Understood? Now, to perform this activity, firstly, we will take hydrochloric acid, zinc granule, okay, then we will take a test tube. In this test tube we will add some amount of zinc. You can see at the bottom of the test tube. Now after that we will add hydrochloric acid into the test tube. As soon as we have filled it with hydrochloric acid, gas bubble can be seen at the bottom of the test tube. Okay, now bring a burning matchstick over the mouth of this test tube. What will happen? It will burn with pop sound. Okay, and the coming out pop sound indicate that the gas which is coming out from the test tube is actually hydrogen gas. Clear? See, you can see the gases are coming out of the test tube. Clear? The next is activity number 7, to observe the formation of a new substance when iron nail is placed in copper sulfate solution. To perform this activity, we need a beaker, okay, water, copper sulfate, a spatula, test tube and test tube stand with clean iron nail. See this is shiny iron nail, okay, and this is copper sulfate solution. Now we will take a test tube or a beaker and add some amount of copper sulfate solution in that test tube or beaker. Okay, then we will add this iron nail into the solution. Okay, like this. Okay, and we will leave it for 20 minutes so that the reaction can take place. After 20 minutes, when you will extract the iron nail, this type of substances can be seen. Means half of the portion of iron nail which was dipped inside the solution like this. You can see half of the iron nail is dipped inside the solution. Okay, half of the iron nail which was dipped inside the solution has some deposition of coppery substances. Okay, reddish brown color. Now, see what happened to the solution. This is the sample solution we have taken and this is the solution after the reaction. So the blue color of this solution has changed into slightly green color after reaction. In test tube B was a sample that we have taken previously to match the color of test tube A and B. Understood? So you can clearly see by looking at this picture that test tube A has change its color because of the reaction. Now it is greenish in color. Understood? Now what happened during this reaction? You can simply say that when we have put iron with copper sulfate, what did happen? Iron has displaces copper from the copper sulfate and it form FeSO4 and copper. Okay, this is the chemical reaction when it happened. Iron react with copper sulfate to form ferrous sulfate and copper. Copper is the reddish brown deposition that you have seen on the iron nail. This is reddish brown deposition which is actually copper. Understood? So when and the solution color get changed because this was copper sulfate solution, whereas this is what? This is ferrous sulfate. Understand? Now see what really happened. This is the iron nail which is having all the layer of iron. Okay, when we are keeping it in solution, what did happen? When you are keeping it in solution, iron move out from the iron nail and see over here, these are CuSO4. Okay, so iron get move out of the iron nail and from CuSO4 it has displaces copper and take its place. Take the place of copper, so it become FeSO4 and now we are having some copper molecule free. These copper molecule will get deposited on the vacant space which has left by iron. Understood? See, in this spoon we are having baking soda and in this glass we are having vinegar. So when we are adding this baking soda into vinegar, what will happen? A lot of gas will come out from this solution. Okay, now to test what kind of gas it is, we will do another activity, that is, we will use a small amount of lime water. See, lime water is a very clear fluid, very transparent, right? Now, to perform this activity, we will take a small amount of baking soda in a test tube, and then we will add vinegar to it, vinegar which is an acid, right? After adding, the reaction will immediately start, so we have to prepare earlier with this cork which is having a delivery tube attached to it. This is the delivery tube. Okay, now just after adding this acid vinegar into the baking soda test tube, we will cover it with the help of this cork like this. Okay, and the second end of this delivery tube will enter into the vinegar. Okay, it will enters into the vinegar test tube. Okay, now as the reaction is going on, the gas will come out from this test tube through this delivery tube into the second test tube which is carrying lime water. Understood? Now, what will happen after that? See, air bubble is coming from this lime water and the color is now slightly changed. You can see gradually the color is becoming milky white. Okay, the change in color from transparent to milky white in case of lime water is only happen when it come in contact with carbon dioxide. So we can say the coming out of gas from this tube is actually carbon dioxide. So we can write the reaction like this: carbon dioxide plus lime water is equal to calcium carbonate and water. Understood? This is how the reaction is going to take place. Firstly, what will happen, as we are adding both vinegar and baking soda together, it will instantly create carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is passed to the second test tube containing lime water with the help of delivery tube, and this delivery tube is containing carbon dioxide into lime water, which will be changing the color of lime water from transparent to milky white. Okay, this happened due to the formation of calcium carbonate. Understand? Now, next is activity number 10. To study the chemical change using iron filling and sulfur powder. See over here, this is the sulfur powder and this is iron filling. Okay, see, they are attracted to the magnet, so they are iron. Okay, now to perform this activity, we will mix iron with sulfur. Okay, we will mix iron with sulfur in this test tube, and we will wait for some time. After even waiting for some time, we will bring the magnet and we will see that this magnet still attract the iron particle from this test tube. It means no reaction is going to take place if there is no heat is provided. So we will provide heat to this test tube. We will bring it toward the burning burner. Now see what happened. The reaction is going on because there is change of color. See, in this way, the sulfur and iron will react to form blackish iron sulfide. Okay, it means in this reaction, to start the reaction, we need to supply heat. Understand? Now, next is use of chemical changes. The first is burning of coal and petrol and a gas is a chemical change. A lot of heat is produced in this change. Means whenever we are cooking the food, we used to burn the fuel like LPG gas. Okay, some of the places we used to burn coal. In some of the places we also used to burn wood to cook food. Burning is a chemical reaction. Why? Because over there the substances are reacting with oxygen and they produce a huge amount of energy in the form of heat and light energy. So it is a chemical change. Next point is many chemical changes take place when a metal is extracted from its ore. Actually, when metals are present on the earth crust, they have some impurity in them. So to extract these metal from the impurity, many chemical are used. Okay, for example, aluminium and iron are extracted from the ore by a series of chemical chain. Now, what is ore? Ore are the minerals from which the metals are extracted with economical benefit. Means after extracting, we can sell them and we can have huge profit out of it. So only if a mineral is having huge quantity of some metal, so that we can extract a good amount of metal from that mineral, then that mineral is known as ores. For example, iron ore is hematite, magnetite and iron pyrite. Okay, next is chemical changes are also used in purification of metal, like electrolysis. We use it to purify the metal, right? Next is many useful things are used in our daily life, like soap, detergent, polythene bag, etc., are produced due to the chemical reaction. Maybe you have watched all the advertisement of the soap. They clean. What is the meaning of clean? They actually have provided some of the chemical substances. When we dip the cloth in those detergent powder, the chemical substances present in the detergent powder bind with the dirt molecule present in the cloth. In this way, a reaction take place and the cloth get cleaned. Understood? Now next is medicines. Medicines are also a result of many chemical reactions. Obviously, while taking the medicine, you may have seen the chemical composition written on the back of the medicine tablets. Okay, medicine strips may you have seen over there. So how they are produced? They are also produced by many chemical reactions. Okay, the next topic is rusting of iron. This we will discuss in our next video. Until then, have a nice day everyone.